And here we are. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Designer Show. I'm Dan Baumann, on with John Schrader. John, how you doing today?
Doing good. Happy birthday.
Hey, thank you, man. It's lovely to be 35 again. You know?
You're not 35.
Okay, 34.
You're not even 36.
No, 64. I have no problem saying my age. It is what it is, and it's all it is. And there's nothing I can do about it. So I might as well just live with it and learn to be happy with it. So I'm pleased to be here and looking forward to another fun show of talking about chief architect stuff. Anyway, real quick, you guys, you know John and I as the Chief Experts guys over at Chief Experts Academy. And by all means, please check us out when you get a chance. We've got the classes that we did this first half of the year are available for, you can watch those, grab those and learn. We covered a ton of information. So if you just head over to chiefexpertsacademy.com or chiefexperts.com and hit the store, you'll see some of those classes that we have available. And they're all recorded. You can watch them anytime. Once you buy them, you own them. So you'll have access to them indefinitely. We've got the Pro Academy, which is also our members area, and ton of content there. It's different from a lot of the other training that we do. It's even different from what we do on the Designer Show. And we've got a lot of cool things planned for it. So check it out. Let us know if you have any questions. All right, John. So what do you think? What should we talk about today?
We're going to talk about solids. Polyline solids.
Solid. That's a solid topic.
A little bit. I know you've been too. It's amazing how many things you can do with it.
Yeah, here's a little pool house. If Randy's on the call, this is a job I did with Randy Iconi. And
screen.
Oh yeah, thank you. I should show that.
Should.
There we go. So there's a little project that I've done, and this was fun. And Randy just texted me. Did he say, yep? Oh. No, that's not it. Okay, all right. Sorry. And I do a lot of stuff with solids, slabs, solids, molding polylines. You know, John, what would you classify as solid? I guess what I classify as solid, anything that I make that's not part of the menu here, I kind of classify that as a 3D item, 3D solid. Now, so we've got these items like this that are made out of shapes. This is actually a block that I blocked it together. So if I unblock it, you'll see the individual items. There's another block that I've just grouped them together. Oops. That edits the blocks. And I'm going to unblock it. I can't unblock that one. Anyway, so there's so many ways to create so many different things in Chief Architect. Because what we're doing here in this program is we're 3D modeling. And we're trying to get it to look the way we want it to be built. So when we deviate from these items on this menu bar right here, yeah, we're kind of modeling with 3D objects, solids. Okay, so let me talk about some of the techniques that I use. I'm going to show you a couple of things today. I'm going to show you two things today that'll be worth the price of admission. All right, I just showed John one of them, and I thank Scott for this. So you guys, be sure you're checking out Chief Architect's videos, because they do have a lot of good videos that you can watch and learn lots of things from Chief Architect. They do a really nice job of teaching you how to use the program. So can't say enough good things about them. Maybe I could, but they're a really good group of people. And John and I try to take it a little bit further, teach, show you more examples, real world examples if we can. And by all means, let us know if you need anything. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the one thing I learned this morning, which I didn't know, and that's why we are always learning. So when you're working in Chief, let's say you want to draw Well, here, actually, let me go just draw a bracket. Like, let me draw something like this and show you how I do that. Okay, so let's say I need to draw something on a gable end. So let me go ahead and just put a gable roof on this house, and we'll draw some brackets up there and make them into solids by drawing them from scratch. So let me go to the roof thing here, and I'll make that a full gable, put a roof on. Come on, roof tool, and build a roof. Okay, so we're going to go to the elevation here. We take a look at that. Now I want to put, maybe you want to put a freeze board up here. Maybe you want to do some trim work coming across. But let's just draw what would be, kind of a 3D bracket. We'll come up like that. We'll do some angles on it. And let me show you a couple of techniques that you use with that. So one of the things that you want to be aware of when you're doing this stuff. And John, I wonder if you use this. Do you cut through things all the time to get the snapping?
I sure do.
Isn't that nice? So what I mean, what I just described, what I just mentioned was to John was when you do an elevation of a wall, you'll notice that when I'm looking at this elevation, let me just switch to a vector view and let me turn the color off. Okay, so turn the color off, and I'll turn the shadows off too. So I'm going to click on the little pencil icon right here and hit show shadows off. Okay, so now we got a nice plain view. I'm looking at the front of the fascia. But when I want to draw a line, and I want to snap it to something. Say I want to snap a line right to the bottom of that. I can't. See here, I can do the edge of the top point here, but I can't get a snap to that. So when I want to try to get something there, it won't work. So what I'm talking about, whenever you're drawing things in Chief, cut through an object so that you'll have edges. Because what Chief does, so I'm going to draw my elevation right on the inside of the fascia facing that wall. And what happens when you do that, what Chief actually does, and you don't see it, but Chief, when you cut through an object like that, Chief is actually putting a CAD line on top of those surfaces. You don't see it. It's actually a layer setting. I don't even remember what that layer was called, but if that layer shut off, you won't get the snapping like I'm going to show you now. So when I click on the line now, see how I see it? Let me go back to the vector view and turn the color off. So you see how I can snap to that now? Let me get my shadows off too. There we go. But you see how I can snap to that now. So now I can get a line exactly on top of that. I can get, if I hold my control key down, sometimes I could even get my line to snap here. Probably not today, but I can for sure make parallel to that and then snap my line to that. So you're going to get precision snapping just like you would when you're drawing with any of the CAD tools in Chief Architect. That's a big deal when you're trying to draw some details in your plan, like those brackets that we're about to draw. So let's go ahead and do.
The other thing I do, Dan, sometimes is I'll make a CAD detail of that gable end and do my drawing on the CAD detail.
That's also another really good idea.
And then it just occurred to me, if I do make a CAD detail and then I copy it and paste it and take it back to my camera and paste in place, I've got all the snaps I want right there on my camera.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, so that's a really good point. I don't do that very often, but what John's talking about is clicking this button right here to make a CAD detail out of this view. And when you do that, it's going to store that. Now everything is aligned. So you have full-blown snapping everywhere. That's a really good idea. But I'm just going to do it right on the elevation. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to draw a 3D object. So this is your Polyline solid tool. All right, you also have some other solid tools that you can use on the floor plan. But this one here, right here, is the one we're going to work with. However, I don't ever use that when I draw this kind of stuff. And here's one of the key tips for you today. Start by drawing it with just the CAD tools, all right, and then convert it to a 3D shape, 3D solid. So let's say I want to draw a band, the bottom bracket is going to be a certain size. So I'm going to start by drawing my box, hit my tab key, and I'm going to make that box 8 inches thick. All right, so there it is. I could turn off my siding, I suppose. Then I'm just going to make the edge of this, and I'll parallel it to the wall here. So I'm just going to draw this out of CAD lines because, again, much like cutting through the thing, when I work with these tools, I get a lot of the snapping functionality that I would with the 2D lines, but not as much. And Chief keeps getting better with this. So I imagine over time we can stop doing this and just start drawing with the 3D stuff right away. But sometimes it doesn't cooperate like I want it to. I've just found it much easier to work with the actual CAD lines. Okay, so here it's snapped right in place. So there's a bottom bracket. So just go ahead and start drawing all of the 2D things that you want to put in your plan. So again, I'll draw something going up, and I'll get it right to the right height. I'm going to make it the right thickness. Oops, 8 inches, not 8 feet. And I can now snap that into place using the snap tool. So I hit my S key, which I've set up as a hotkey. Same thing as using point to point. Now I could hit my 3 key and break that and put it in place. So use that technique to start drawing this stuff, and you'll find it's really easy to get things in the right place. Now I want to draw a bracket going up. So, and I'll put a little arc on that. So I'm going to start with, if I get a center point going in here, I could, work from that, I suppose. There's about 4 different ways to draw this. I'm just going to draw a line and hook it together. So let's just go like this. Okay. Now I want to make that, a bracket that kind of looks like that. All right. So I'm going to get the top part of that where I want it to be. And I'm going to pull that into place. And, I'll go same thing up here. It doesn't really matter if you get it right because we're going to adjust it anyway. Now I'm going to convert that line to an arc and get it about the right arc that I want. You could set an actual radius if you want. Now here's a little trick for you. The hard part of making an arc is how do you make the bottom side of that arc so that's the right radius, because the bottom arc is going to be a different radius than the top arc. So what you want to do is you want to click on the copy tool and then hit the hold in place tool. And then you're going to grab the circle here, not the diamond, not the ends. Grab this circle and start pulling. And what you see how it shrinks it down? So the radius will be exactly what you need it to be. So when you grab that circle, and I could just hit my tab. See, I wonder if that'll work to hit my tab key.
I was just going to ask you that.
Because I'm going at an angle now. So that's where it gets tough.
Be a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, but how do I put the right dimensions in? So that's what I don't know. So probably what I would do, John, is if I want to have an 8-inch bracket, I'm going to draw an 8-inch box, and then I'll just snap my thing to that, or I could maybe draw an 8-inch line or something like that. This is that area that I could use a little help on. So if anybody knows exactly how to do this,
click on, open that, hit tab again.
And so if I go like that, there's my end. So now I've got it. So that could work. What were you going to have me do?
Click on it and hit and start moving it again and hit tab, or copy it and hit tab. Because there's a polar. Hit tab. Yeah, click on polar and then you can put in your angle and your dimension.
So
45-degree angle.
Bam.
In this case.
There you go. So that worked. Yep. So see how it came out just right? So I think it did anyway. Yeah. So click, copy, hold position, start pulling the circle, get it to where you want it to go, hit your tab key, relative to start, polar. Okay, so there's the angle. I wonder if I must have moved from whatever I was copying it at. Let me try that one more time. I think we won't dwell on that too much. Copy, hold position, pull. See if I move where my cursor is off of that center point, it's going to change that angle.
Right, but you just type in the angle that you want.
Yeah, so hit tab. Yeah, I could do that too, I suppose. But it's at a 60, coming straight down right now, it's 60. So if I go 12, there's my 12-inch space. So there you go. All right, now we need to make this into a shape so that I can join it together. So here's a little trick for you too that I've learned. So I'm going to draw, let me undo that. Because if I pull the end of this, see how it changes? It's really hard to control the arc on where it goes. All right, and of course this is not going to be a very good arc example. But let's just go ahead and I'm just going to make a line here, and I'm going to make it so that it is parallel to the angle that I want. I'm going to join this edge to that edge. So I'm going to snap this to that. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the join end tool. This always works great when you want to connect this to that. Okay, so join line tool, click on the end of that line. Start by clicking on the end of that line, hit the tool, hit this line, and did I get the wrong line? I got the siding line. No, what did I get? Didn't work. Try that again. Click, join, click. Okay, it's not working today, John. This always works for me. Click. Oh, you know what's happening is I'm going to get a really goofy shaped board.
Yeah.
And anyway, let's not do. Let me just pull straight off of this. I'm just going to join it in like this for now. That always works for me. That's surprising that I'm not getting that to work. Anyway,
because your constant or whatever wasn't going to hit that line.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get this to be a closed shape so I can make it into a 3D object. So there, it jumped a little bit. Sometimes what I'll do is my arc is past the line. I'll go ahead and just so when your arc is past the line and you want to join something to the end of something, click on that arc, click on the break tool, break it where you want it to break, click on the piece you want to get rid of and hit this tool right here. That'll isolate that line you want to get rid of. And oops, I didn't hit the tool first. I should do that. Click, I got it broke. Click on this piece, do that. See how it just selects that line? Now I can delete just that. Now I can join that together easier. So that works really well too. All right, so just join this together. Click here and here. That's a piece right there. Copy, reflect around the ridge up here. If I get to my center point, come on. There you go. And there's my other side. And then up here, I could just reshape that to be what I want it to be. Oh, I already did. So there you go. So now I've got my 3 pieces that I want. So I'm going to group select them. Go highlight each one. Hold your control key down. I don't think it's not a closed shape yet. What happened? Should be highlighting. What's going on here? Something's not quite hooked up. This one work? That one's not hooked up. Sorry, I can't do this until I get this edges to hook up. Something is not right. For Pete's sake. What's wrong, John? Here's a little, yeah. You ever run into this where something's not quite hooked up?
Hit your close polyline button and see what happens.
That's this one. There we go.
So there's the issue. You got a line broken in that arc somewhere that's not connecting.
Oh, you know what? I had done some copy pasting, so I was doing some extra. Okay, that's right. Good point. I like that tool. All right, let's get back up here. Come on. All right, there we go. Okay, now I can group select those things. And what I always do with these kind of items that I make is I put them on a layer, line style, define a layer, and we'll create a new layer or copy a layer. But what I always do is I put them on a layer called 3D slab. Anything that I create that's, you know, and I'll call it my, you know, Gable brackets. That's how I do it. So anything that I create for my plan, if I name it, if I put it on some sort of a 3D slab layer or 3D solid, whatever you want to call it, at least I know where to get it. I can turn it on and off anytime I want. All right, so we've got them on the layer that we want. We're going to hit the convert button down here, and then we can convert that to a Polyline solid, and then click OK. And when we do that, it's going to open the dialog. How thick do you want it? I want those 6 inches thick. Click OK. And I'm not sure what that means. And so there you go. So now we've got, or did it not work?
It didn't make it solid.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so there's the shapes that we just created. Sometimes when you get solids real close to each other, you get that goofy message. All right, so there we go. So we've got that. I'm going to put something other than concrete on there. Maybe grab some white paint from the baseboard here.
Does X13 have a way for you to make it something that's not concrete for the Polyline solid? Does
It
do that?
does, yeah. So now, and what you could do is you could double click on this icon right here before you use it, and convert this to the type of material that you want it to be. So if you don't want it to be concrete every time, see, so we're in a Polyline solid defaults, which is new in 13.
Okay.
So you can set these up to be something other than concrete every time it comes up.
That's nice.
Yeah, I like that. So I do change that when I'm working on different things in my plan. All right, so there's some brackets some solids that we created using the drawn 2D and convert to 3D method. And I'll do that a lot of times with a lot of different beams. So I did the same thing in this particular plan here, this pool house, when I was working with Randy. Come on, where'd it go? Here it is. So, he had some pictures of what it should be, since it's drawings from a pool house company or beam company that's going to make the beams. But, they didn't do they had some of that, but Randy wanted to be able to show the client the real 3D stuff. And so that's what we did. So all of the items that I created here, I drew it just like I showed you. I created a 2D object. I made it the exact shape I wanted, converted it to 3D and put it in place. And that's just a matter of, doing a not a reflected copy, but multiple copies. All right, so going back to this, let's talk about a few other types. I mean, this is real easy. So if you're going to just draw solids with that tool, what I'm showing you right now, you could do it like that, or you could draw it in CAD and then convert it. Either way works fine. Whatever you find works easier. I just found it's much easier to draw with the CAD tools first. I'm going to not save that elevation. Okay. And if I bring up a full blown.
The other thing I'm going to bring up, Dan, is when you're making those shapes, don't worry about the edges coming just perfectly, like where the center comes to the beam and stuff like that, because you can either change the thickness so the lines don't show up, or you can lock it all together and and get rid of your original, and it looks great.
Okay.
I don't know if that made any sense or not, but
no, I wasn't listening because if someone sent me a plan that I want to open.
Okay.
Let me go here. Anybody got any questions going, John?
Nope.
Okay.
We got people from, it's kind of fun. We got people from Norway, Stein's here.
Nice.
And
Hi, Stein.
Alaska, Bremerton, Washington, Sandpoint, Idaho, from the UK,
Wow.
Miami.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me get down here. All right, so let's see what we got here. Someone sent me something. Let me open it up quick. Get to the right place.
Boise.
All right, here we go. Logo. Someone did logo. Oh yeah, so there you go. Someone created some logos out of this. They made a 3D logo.
Cool.
Yeah. So there you go. So yeah, anything that you can draw can become a 3D object. So let's talk about a few other things. Let's go through some different tools here. And thanks for sending that, by the way. G. Zali from the UK. Let me get out of this plan. Back to this plan. Let's go. A little example I want to show you was the shower base. Okay, so sometimes I'll do these. I'll create little shower pans like this. I mean, they have some in the library, but you can create your own if you want to. Put a little hole in there. So let's talk about some of the techniques used to create this kind of stuff. It's really simple. So when we go to the floor plan and we go to, let's go ahead and draw a slab. I'll just start out with a box this time. Draw a slab. Hit your tab key. I want that to be 5 feet by minus 36. Okay, and I want to create a slab here now that is going to be a certain thickness. I could just pull it up here. So you could do a little push-pull here in Chief. Now, or I could open the dialog and set the thickness that way. I can't grab this and move it. Can I hit the tab key and do this? Yeah. So that's adding to it. So I go absolute XY. So if I want that to be 5 inches tall, by golly, it did it. So there we go. So when you're pulling in this view, again, Y is up and down. It should be Z in what we think of in the 3D world, but apparently Y works too. So if I want that 6 inches, it can be 6 inches. Cool. All right. So I'm going to use it. I want to cut the middle of this box out. All right. So I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to hit hold position. I'm going to grab this corner and start pulling it in, and I'm going to hit concentric, which is C on your keyboard. See how it pulls it in nice and even? Okay, and then I'm going to hit tab. So I want to leave a little 3-inch curve here on 2 sides. So I'm going to pull it in. That's really weird. Oh, turn puller off. Got it. So I'm going to go -4. I'm going to make a 4-inch curve. Hit tab, -4. Hit OK. Now I've got 4-inch box all the way around. But I don't want 4 inches at the wall. So I'm going to turn concentric off. Okay. When you hit that C key, Chief turns this icon on. It turns on concentric jump. That's also under preferences. So if you go to your preferences and you go to edit behaviors, when you hit the C key, Chief is turning this on, the concentric jump. And when you're done with that, it leaves it turned on. At least it does on my computer. So you got to go back and turn that off. Just turn it back to this one where you're going to just edit the corners. And so then once I have that set up, then I can click here, and I just want that an inch from the wall. So I'm just going to make a pan like that. All right. So now I've got a copy of that slab in the middle. All right. So there's the slab I created in the middle. So what I'm going to do is open Transform Replicate and just raise that up 1 inch. I'll leave an inch thick on the bottom. Now, if I really wanted to, I could go into a cross section and I could curve the bottom of that up by, I could put a break here, and I could lift that bottom up like this. And then it's going to have a sloping bottom when I do the extrude. All right, get in there. There we go. Be easier to do that in elevation. But there you go. So I'm going to do it a bunch so you can actually see how much it does that. All right, so here's the trick. So I want to cut this out of this big box. So I'm going to click on the box you want to save, click the surface, hit the extrude, hit the subtract tool. So you've got 3 tools here to complete the Baumann operations, they call it. We got this tool here, which basically when you click on a few different objects, it creates an outline of it and joins them all together. This one cuts out all but whatever's overlapping, the center one. And this one will extrude whatever it is I want to extrude out of a different object. So in this case, I'm going to click on the thing you want to keep, hit the extrude, then click on the thing you want to get rid of. And there's that extruded object right now. Okay, apparently I moved something, so it got to the end of that. Let's undo that. Must have moved something. Come on. Oh, yeah. Now let's pull that back a little bit. Try it again. Click, extrude, click on the object you want to get rid of, and there you go. So you can see the slope in the bottom that I created. So if you want to create a custom sink, or pretty much any shape that you want, you could do that by extruding the inside of that. I did some fireplaces where I had to create some indentations in the fireplace because the way the brickwork was done. So that's really an easy thing of just going into an elevation and drawing. Go, whoops, wrong side. Let's go out here. Draw an elevation. Most all the fireplaces I ever draw in Chief, I draw out of slabs. Whether I do them all in one big piece or I create a couple little pieces. You can do it like this. So you want to create, I wanted to create an indent in there. So let's make that 24 inches deep. Then I just draw a box on, use the same tool, draw a box on top of it, you know, get it in the right place, open the dialog for that box. Let's set the depth at, 6 inches. And of course, I can't tell where it is in that box. I have to go back to the floor plan to see that. So I want to get that so it's in 5 inches. So I'll just move the box down. I'll hit transform replicate, and I'll just in Y, move that down 5 inches, -5. Okay, so there you go. So now I'm ready to extrude that box and create a little indent into this box here. So I click on what I want to keep, click the extrude button, click on the box you want to extrude, and now you've got a little indentation in there that you could put. And you could keep doing that and go more, or you could have created one shape that does that. Now, one of the cool things about Chief in this version, I'll get back to the pan in just a second, is you can, so if I go into an elevation, you can start editing the shape of the 3D box here. Of course, that's not quite in the right place, so I would move the whole thing over. But anyway, so maybe I want to create a ring of brick around the top here. So I could just break this and pull that out in this view, okay? And then I could come over here, click on that line, break it, pull it out. I'll just, oops. So you're just changing the shape of a CAD object. And, okay, so there I've got that coming out like that. I could step it up, step it back. So you can change the shape in any view that you're working in. You never used to be able to do that in Chief. It was always you could only change the shape of the object in whatever view you drew it in. And then you could convert it to a solid, and then you could extrude and all that kind of stuff. So it was a little bit extra work. But now let's go like this, and let me come back, look at it from a different angle. And I could probably do some of this in 3D too. But let me go here. Now this gets a little tricky. I was playing with this before. I want to extrude this out too. Okay, I just did the wrong view. Get out of that view. So in this view, I want to extrude that out. I can't just pull on this because it's going to pull that whole edge out. Okay, so that gets a little tricky. So what I have to do is, John, tell me if you know how to do this better than I do, but I ended up going like this, where I created a whole new shape there, and then no, that still didn't work. How did I do that before?
What are you trying to do?
I wanted to pull this edge out here without pulling the whole edge out.
Add another Polyline solid to it, and then block them together, and then you should have another surface to pull out.
Yeah, I guess I could try that. Let's do that. So if I were to do this, I need them to be touching, overlapping, don't I?
Yep.
Where'd it go? There it is.
I usually do stuff like that just by building it up,
Yeah, and sometimes I'll just do a molding polyline for the shape I want, put that up there, and that works pretty well too. So if I go like this, so see here, I've got my shape right there. And again, I could go in here and break it. Now I just click on this and click on and hit the union tool. And now it's all part of one object. So now I could just bend this down. Let's see if this works. And I'd have to go bend it the other way too. I found that much easier to use molding polylines to do that kind of stuff. Let's go back to this little shower plant pan thing. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Here we go. All right, so when we're back here, and I don't know why this is so dark. Let me go to a vector view with the lights off. There we go. All right, so we can see that now. So now you can also, I could cut a hole in here or something like that. So when I click on this object, if you see this icon right here, all right, this is used for putting holes in slabs. And so I could do that. I could click that icon and go ahead and draw a box on top of there. It's going to create a hole in it. Oops, did that wrong. So when you do that, when you let go, you see how you can make that hole up or down. Okay, so what I could do is hit my tab key, I believe. Nope, I can't. So I just hit clicked and it drew in, it made a hole in that. And again, that's just a CAD box that I could make any shape that I want. So if I wanted to make that look more like a slot drain, I could do that, move it to where I want it to be. So you can move that kind of stuff around. So that works really well. What I was trying to find before was something like that I could just draw a box on top of something and pull that piece up. I haven't found that yet. So I have to kind of do what John was saying. I could go, well, let me try something. So if I go here and just draw a box on top of this, okay, so it did attach itself to the top of that slab already. So let me just pull that up. So it's really nice that you can edit these things in any view. All right, again, if I wanted that to be part of this, I should be able to click on this, hit Polyline Union, and then click on that object, and that should be part of this whole shape now. Doesn't look like it, but it should be. Let's see. Yep. So when I try to move that, it moves the whole box. So Polyline Union. So it made that piece into one hunk. So other types of Polyline solid boxes. Again, this is just one kind of a Polyline box. All right. And Chief has some predefined shapes that you can use. So actually, if I go like this, and if I grab a sphere, put that on top of there, see if I could do that. So I could create this now. So I could cut out that bottom of this ball. John, you should probably mute your microphone. I'm getting a little feedback. I think that's you.
Probably have it too high, probably.
So I click again. You always click on the thing you want to save.
Is that better?
They're about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, there, that got rid of it. Click on that. Click this tool right here. Click on the thing you want to get rid of and see how I just created an indent into that box. I could go let's grab a pyramid and pull one of those in. Oops. And that's not what I wanted. Thing that I have not worked with a lot of the stuff, but see how I'm able to change the shape of that before I click. All right, so there you go. So now if I take this pyramid, let's make a copy of it and let's hold position and go transform replicate. Let's move that down 1 inch, -1. Okay, so now I've got a box sticking out of the bottom. And so what I could do now is click on the thing I want to keep, hit this extrude button, subtraction, click on the little box I made inside. And now I've got a box that should be hollow on the inside. So the concept that I'm showing you should work just with just about any box. So there you go. So see how I've got that? Now I could make that into some sort of glass or something like that if I wanted to make that a light fixture. Robin, I'm kind of thinking of what you were telling me yesterday. So if I were to click on the material and just type in glass, 2 S's, and grab, I'll get that. You know, I could use different kinds of glasses, but if I go to a standard view now, yeah, so now we can see how that's transparent. And, you know, I don't get into creating a lot of crazy symbols. I mean, that's what we leave to our Revit, or not our Revit, but our SketchUp friends. So go to the 3D warehouse and grab things over there. Although Chief's getting there, we're going to be able to create just about anything we want coming up. I think they're getting really close to being able to allow us to do that. So what are some of the other types of boxes that Chief uses? If you guys have not been using, if you haven't been using the wall regions, floor region tools, you should. They're amazing. So this is when you want to put something different on a wall. Use the wall region tool. You can draw a box on top of the wall and it's going to put a different material in that box. I don't know why this is so dark. Let me just get back to a standard view, but that's what I just drew. What Chief does with that is it extrudes around openings automatically. You have the tool to draw automatic backsplashes. So when you have your cabinets in place and you have some uppers above them, you have to have uppers and lowers to get this to work initially. Okay, so if I put a upper here, and I'll just stretch it out again, nothing's going to be very accurate here. I'll stretch this over. And when I use the tool under the cabinet called custom backsplash, we're creating a polyline solid that's going to automatically recognize where the cabinets are. So I click between the cabinets and Chief puts a box in there and it puts tools on there, or a tile on there. So it's automatic. And then I can, reshape that any shape I want. I could create holes in it by just drawing another region on, I think we draw another region on top of it. And I could click on that thing I just drew. And it's dialogue. I could say, maybe this one doesn't work like that. No, it does not. That I was not able to extrude that out of there. I'm not sure how I would do that.
You could put another polyline solid over it, just make it a little bit thicker than the tile that's there.
Let's do that. Let's see. All right, we're going right here. Polyline solid. Normally, I would draw this stuff in elevation because sometimes here's wanting to draw it like it's flat on the floor. So I do have to go to an elevation to draw that. You're going to be much more accurate doing it that way. Let's just go into the full elevation. Oops, ooh, I drew something out there, didn't I? I'll do something again. All right, so there you go. I've never had an opportunity where I had to have a hole in one of these things, but let's see if it works. So if I go back to my plan.
Actually, what that's going to do is draw it right on top of the.
Right. So I'd have to go back here and stretch it through. Let's see if I can extrude. I don't think I'll be able to. Let's find out. No. So I've got this shape, which is too different from that box. So if I needed to create holes in there, I'd probably just draw a slab on top of the wall because I can extrude holes in the slab. Although, hang on. Do we have another tool here called, we don't have, for countertops, we can create the custom countertops and custom countertop holes, but we don't have a hole function for this.
But if you used a wall niche and just made it the thickness of the tile.
Well, there you go. Well, no, that's going to be inserted into the wall. It's not going to be on top of the wall.
You should be able to modify it so it won't go through the sheetrock.
I don't know.
Just by setting the depth of it.
That depth starts at the sheetrock, though. Well, let's set the depth. Let's set it to 0 and see what happens.
Put a negative number in.
I just set it to 0. By golly, John, you're friggin' genius. Good job.
It's just because it's your birthday.
There we go.
There are when you're ready for them.
Okay, cool. So again, here's that slab that I drew on the wall. And again, I drew a little box on top of it. So anytime, click, subtract that, boom, you got a hole in it now. What do we got for questions?
One of the questions is it best to draw in elevation rather than in plan view for 3D items?
Depends on what you're drawing, but yes, I would say absolutely. So let's say you wanted to draw, and again, anything that you draw can be converted to 3D automatically. So let's say I wanted to draw something crazy on this wall, like a stripe going up at an angle. All right, so I come up like this. All right, I want to put some, and I've seen architects do this where they just, draw all sorts of crazy stuff, and they want to, maybe shoot down like that. It could be whatever you want it to be. All right, so I just drew that with the CAD tools. Let's hit the convert button and see what we can make out of that. Polyline solid, a backsplash, a 3D molding polyline, a material region. Okay, keep in mind material regions. Backsplashes are material regions, so it's just a special one that snaps to cabinets. But the material region here remember that'll automatically cut out around the windows. So when we click OK to that, and then we can go put whatever material we want in it, and then click OK. And there you go. So now you've got that going on your wall. So I could actually take and put different material on there, do whatever I want. So I've seen tile, some architects that do really amazing, I'll call it amazing tile jobs where they come up with all sorts of crazy ideas. That'd be one way you could do that. It's just like I used a material region here, a wall material region to do the tile on the walls. And when you do a wall niche, just a little FYI for you. So here's a wall niche. A wall niche acts just like a window. In fact, it's under the window menu. So when you put one of those in a wall, the thickest you can go with a wall niche is as thick as the framing. It will never go through the last layer of that wall. So if you want a really deep niche, make a really deep wall. Open the dialog for that niche and turn the frame on and make the frame as thick as the tile that you want. Okay. Oops. Okay. And then what you could do then, now the back side of the niche will automatically, you'll be able to put material on that. And then you could spray that same material on the frame and it wraps around that wall niche really nicely. And then you can open the dialog and you can put different arches on that if you want to. You want a round top, click OK. And, for the bottom, you could turn the sill on. Actually, I drew a slab down there, but you could turn the sill on for that, just like a window. So use sill, don't wrap it, extend it out.
You can turn the casing on too.
Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah, so that you can do. Here I've got a little overlap on the sill. Can I turn that off? I can't. Okay. The frame is extending up a little above the sill. That might work all right, though. Someday maybe Chief will get those tiles to work around those arcs, too.
You kind of went away from the question, though, a little bit. It was basically 3D objects in general, not material regions.
All right.
They were asking about.
So ask that question again.
Yes, is it best to draw in elevation rather than plan view for 3D items? Like columns and stuff.
Depends on what it is. I mean, if it's something where you're getting, like the brackets on a gable end, draw it on the wall. Mm-hmm. If it's something on the floor plan, and again, I haven't used it enough to really say. It depends on what you're drawing. It really does.
With X13, that there's a lot. You can almost do it from a camera view, from a 3D camera view. It's
getting better that way. The thing we can't do with it is draw dimensions on it and then click on line, click on a dimension to make it the way that we do on our floor plan. But I can do a ton of function here, all the same functions. I can break it there. I can click here. I can break that edge right there and pull it in. So again, if you're drawing a hood vent or something like that, yeah, maybe you want to do that from 3D view.
Get it roughed in that way and then change it.
Yeah, of course. I got to figure out how to break these at this point here so I can change those independently of that.
You could probably do that from the elevation view.
Yeah, so I was trying before. I still got some learning to do about this myself, guys. All right, what other questions we got?
Another question is, how do you make a cylinder that makes a 90-degree curve?
Like a pipe?
Yeah.
I use molding polylines for that.
Yeah.
So I would use this right here, molding line, or and again there I'm gonna the trouble with that is I can't create a pipe that bends and then bends at a different angle and then bends at a different angle. Okay, I can do whatever view you're drawing it in. You can do certain things with it. Now there is a rotate tool I noticed in Chief that they were talking about. I got to learn a little bit more about that. But basically with the molding polyline, you're going to go just draw your line. Oops, quite get it. You don't do a 3D molding polyline, just a molding polyline. Why is it doing that? Molding polyline. Let's select the molding I want to put on there. So I want to add a new circle. And in Chief, there's no shapes. Just go to the rails, handrails. There's a circle there. Just grab that circle and make it whatever diameter you want. So if you want an 8-inch duct or something like that, you can do that and make them the same. And then I'm going to offset that from the floor by 6 feet, just for this example. And then you can start making that, laying that out however you want. And when we look at that in 3D, it's going to look like that. Put different material on it and you're good to go. So now the other thing you could do with this is start adding radiuses to the corners. You're going to have inside corner and outside corners, which will be different radiuses. So what I would do here on this corner, and the line's still kind of referencing back to 0, but I'm going to click right. I'll click right. Let's go back to the floor plan. It'll be easier there. Click right here. Just use the fillet tool or the chamfer tool. Set your radius. I'm going to go 5 inches. And there's my elbow right there. Of course, on this one, I would probably need more of a radius to make it look the same. So here I would probably need to double that or whatever. I'd have to do the math on that one. So
see what it's doing on the inside corner there? Showing the radius isn't big enough.
Right, it's overlapping it. So that's the only difference.
So it'd be the radius that you started with on the other one, 5 inches, plus the thickness of the pipe.
Thickness of the pipe.
Right.
Yep, exactly. So they have that. Now, Chief does have a library that you can download, HVAC spiral duct library. So if you grab that, it's really a good library. I've used it in a few different projects. It's, number 2, see, they have spiral ducting, registers, and great. So when you click on this, and they have a molding polyline already set up in the form of a ductwork like this. Hence, i.e., if you create some ductwork molding polylines, put them in a library because you could then use them over and over again. So you click on that, you start drawing, and well, this doesn't. Did I not get it? I had to double click on it. No. Oh, I had the wrong tool selected. I'm supposed to draw a line. If I select this and then select that, there we go. There we go. So now it's drawing the same thing. I'm doing it the same way. They do have different elbows and things for that ductwork that you could put in if you want to. So if you really want to show a nice duct system, they've done a pretty good job with that to get you started. And if we go look at that, here's that spiral ductwork. So it looks pretty good. So I think they've done a real nice job with that. Then you could raise that up, put it where you want. So you could do the same thing in any elevation. Okay. So keep that in mind. Now, what I can't do here is take this and bend it down. All right. So I can't put a break in here that would go up and down. All it's going to do is go at an angle. It's going to extend it.
You can do that with a 3D molding polyline.
Can you?
Yep.
Let's try it real quick. We're just about out of time.
George, this is your answer to your question, what he's going to show you here.
Well, let me just try one thing here first. So if I go into elevation, see, I can't click on it. So you're saying a 3D molding polyline.
3D molding polyline, and then you can select it in elevation too. And you pretty much have to do it in elevation views and floor views to get it doing the right thing.
Okay, so if we go here, and I'm going to put a molding on there. Let's go do that. Let's replace that with that circle again. And just under handrails, circle, make that circle 8 inches. And if I go into a 3D view again, you're saying I can now move that.
You might have to do it from an elevation view to be accurate about it.
Okay.
But you can break that line there. Should be able to break it.
I've never tried this before on this kind of never tried it with this before. Let's find out. So there it is. There's that
You
line.
can 3D and break the end.
There you
go.
Let's see. Well, let's see. Is it? No.
Now go back to take an elevation of it from the other direction. And then you should be able to go stand it up straight or whatever angle you want to do it at.
Really?
Yep.
I just added an edge on there. Let's see.
It's kind of tricky. It's not perfect. I've done it a few times, but the corners sometimes don't go together right. So it's just, if somebody really wants to work on that, they're going to need to.
But that's, I see right there, we're getting a little bit of goofiness going on. But that's promising.
It's doable. You just gotta figure out exactly what's causing you to do those things. And
see, what I do is I would go in here and then make, just in the elevation view, I just draw my polyline to look like that. It's a little extra work, but it works. Now, can I add that to a library? I cannot.
You make it a symbol.
I could make it a symbol. That doesn't do me much good though.
Well, it would do some good if you get it all done and you don't want it to change. Then you make it a symbol. Replace your mold and polyline with your symbol, and you got it.
Yeah, it's interesting though. So that one I could move. How come I can't move this other one? Well, that's cool. It's a good start. So we're getting there. All right. Hey, we're about done. Anything else, John?
Show us how to do a glass door in a shower real quick.
Oh, glass door in a shower. I'll just show you what this is made out of. And I've just added it to a library. So I've just got a little library, some bathroom things that I use every now and then. So when I go to my user library and I go to my shower creator, I've just got a couple of doors. And that's exactly what they are. They're doors. So if you click on this door and open it, the dialog box, it is a slab that's hinged. It's got, a width that I can change anytime I want. I can adjust the floor from the bottom. Mine's preset to 3 inches. Under hardware, I've used a bar pull handle with bell brackets. So you'll have to go and download door hardware number 2 to get some of these pulls. Looks like they've added a bunch to this since I've gotten it. Wow. Okay, so there's your door hardware, and they have a door hardware 1. Yeah, so get bonus door hardware number 2, and they have strap hinges. That's not what I'm using. Let's go look at the hinges that I've used. They are under the shower hardware in the bonus catalog. So download the shower hardware, and that'll give you these different hinges that they have. So again, they keep adding to their libraries. So now if you have these libraries and you don't see these items in there, make sure that you go click this button. Which one is it? Add new hardware. Add new hardware. I don't know what that means. I keep adding icons, which I don't know what they mean yet. If you don't have it, go to library, update library catalogs. You want to do this regularly anyway, because again, they keep adding things to the library. And doing this will bring those new things onto your computer. All right, and then set that door at, I've set it at 1 inch or ½ inch thick, I believe. Under my settings, ½ inch thick. That's about it, I think. And then you just put glass material, whatever glass material you want to use on it. Now, be careful with Chief's glass, because when you use their glass in the library, it's kind of, you can't hardly see it in your 3D view. So if I were to go here and go to Chief's library and select glass, and I would put that on here, like the laminated glass, and I spray that on this wall, you can barely see it. All right, so just go ahead and click on the material picker tool and adjust that material on the glass. You'll see it in a vector view, it'll be solid. You won't be able to see through it. In a render view, under texture, under properties, I always, under transparent, you need to change the transparency. What I always do is just go general material and change the transparency to, I don't know, 30% or something like that. And now you can see the glass, but you can still see through it. So what did I have set up? I don't remember what I had this one set at. I had it set to 55% transparent. So whatever works for you. But I don't know why Chiefs does theirs so transparent.
Talking about adding new buttons, there's also a shower door in the child tool for.
Yeah, so that you could, what you could do is you could create that door like this, click this button right here, set it as a default. Let's see, will that make my shower? No, that won't make my shower door default.
No. Just
So I gotta go to, go to doors and go to shower door.
Yeah,
and
then you
set
can
it.
make it default.
Create your shower door here.
Right.
And that's what will be part of your plan, part of your template if you do it in your template. Do they give me the option to, let's just see, if I click on make default, no, it's going to do the interior door. So I've just messed up my interior door default for this plan, not for all of my plans. All right, John, we're about done. Any other questions?
Just a couple of clarifications. George, when we were working with the 3D molding Polyline, you need to work in different views to make that work. You just have to play with that.
Yeah.
Marty says he finally upgraded to Chief 13, can't get 3D. Need to upgrade something? You got any ideas on that?
Can't get what now?
He can't get his 3D to work. It's
The
probably a
camera?
hardware issue, but
The 3D cameras?
it sounds that way in Chief 13, Chief X13.
How do you create a 2D custom symbol, store it in library, and then show it in a custom schedule?
That's a different question, but
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Doug, or Mike. Tech support for sure.
yeah, Marty, I would get a hold of tech support and see what they got to say.
Yeah, if you're not seeing any 3D, it's probably a video card. Go to preferences and go to render, ray trace. Let's see, video card status.
See your screen, Dan.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oops. And go on, again, preferences, video card status, and see what it says here. That might have an indication. What I always do, the first thing I always do whenever there's any 3D issues is I go update my video card drivers. I go to nvidia.com, download the GeForce Experience software, run it on your computer. It should take care of this. It should take care of any 3D issues you're having. They change those drivers all the time. It's really important to keep them up to date. All right. With that, I think we'll call it a day. Thank you everyone for being here. This is kind of an interesting topic that I do a lot of 3D stuff, but I really haven't used much of their new tools yet. I've just been starting to notice that we have a lot more functionality in how we use the software, and it's really quite cool. So
you just scratched the surface. You didn't even scratch the surface, I don't think.
I think I revealed the surface.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of this stuff, again, you draw it in 2D first, then convert it to 3D. That'll save you a lot of headache. Unless it's something simple, then just draw it in 3D. Don't worry about it. But anytime you're drawing crazy shapes, brackets, and things like that, I just found it so much easier to do that. And just be aware you can edit all these items in different views, or most of these items. So you guys take care. We will catch you next time, a couple weeks from now, I believe. So I'm going to go hang out with my family. We'll see you guys later.
Okay. You have a great birthday.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.